Despite the temptation for a big New Year's Eve celebration, Noah's Budokan show awaited the following afternoon, with a big mystery wrestler appearing. Not to mention another wrestler holding an impromptu YouTube show before the gates opened. Who would they be? Hi, this is Junk Shop Dog, and this is my Japanese wrestling travel experience. Let's be clear, I can't recall every date, match and title change that ever occurred in Japan. I speak very little Japanese and I'm no food expert. But what I can do is show you how to have the time of your life centering a holiday around pro res in Japan. This isn't the Bible, but if any tip offered is useful, well then it was worth it for both of us. So I'll give you some hints on which promotions might suit you and how to best enjoy each venue. So hit the gong and let's enjoy Japan. The checklist is coming along nicely, but there's still challenging tasks still unticked. All was quiet on New Year's Day, so with not much traffic, there was time to visit the Giant Barber pop-up in Suidobashi. This was a fun shop with merch centred around the wrestlers who contributed towards the glory days of All Japan Pro Wrestling. Oh, I know those figures. After meeting with the boss, it was time for my first ever trip to Nippon Budokan to see a promotion strongly linked to Baba's All Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah. Arriving early was rewarded, and not just for a gold mine of a merch sale. After an early brush with the Noah roster, it was time for a feed. There's not much on offer at Budokan, and lines fill quickly between matches. Plus the walk back is pretty magical. Much like being in the building itself, its place in Japanese history is unquestionable from both a sporting and culture perspective. And we had a little bit of a combat nostalgia hit early on, and a title match that was a family affair. But as Kenor pointed out earlier, the banner had a mystery appearance that, while appearing to be less than secret, needed to be revealed. So was Bushi's tag partner who we all thought it would be? Well, eventually it was. And the interlopers controversially took off with the silverware. A familiar face to the now Los Tranquilos de Japón had a belt of his own to defend in the Junior Heavyweight Championship match. I thought the standout performer of the night was Amakusa. I've never really had a firm opinion on him prior to this, but he managed to harness what can be an excitable Hiromu Takahashi into a very enjoyable, believable contest. Match of the year so far. The main event was my first decent look at both Ozawa and a post-excursion Yoshiki Inamura. They both impressed, and Ozawa's charisma shone through, despite the antics of Team 2000X not being to the tastes of the crowd. Thankfully, Inamura retained, and the crowd went home happy. And so they should. Noah put on an excellent show and suggested there a promotion to follow in 2026. Yodobashi Camera offered up a jingle that rivals Don Quixote. But it was All Japan we were off to this morning, to its traditional 2-day New Year's stand at Korakuen Hall. Next tip for this venue, almost everyone brings their own food, and most Korakuen shows are around mealtime. Ordering outside food means your dollar can go further, much further in this case. All Japan was setting itself for the new year and announced 2 permanent roster members on the opposite sides of the experience spectrum, rookie Shota Kofuji and former Noah legend Go Shiozaki. The former was given a chance to prove himself, and while he didn't win the match against Shiozaki, he certainly won over the All Japan faithful. The former GHC champion continues to put on excellent matches and is clearly an asset for his new home. After some matches with previews for the following day and beyond, we had a World Tag Team Championship match with 4 combatants that the ring struggled to hold. Ultimately, the belts changed hands, plus a preview into some more championship matches. And to end the show, we got the traditional New Year's Battle Royal. This has been held on the 2nd of January by All Japan for over 40 years. Yuma Anzai, fresh off an unsuccessful Triple Crown attempt, received some consolation. Overall, All Japan bounced off its big show with another strong outing. Can't wait to back up tomorrow. There was time for a little more shopping at the New Japan store, a stone's throw from Korakuen Hall. It's got the best range of New Japan shirts, and if massive queues on their event days don't appeal, this is a far less stressful option. After checking out some other merch that's popular in Japan,
so we're out in Shinjuku. Not only is it raining, it's
snowing!
There he goes. Is that enough?
I sure had. Back to the warmth of Shinjuku face for Noah's New Year reboot. It was a beginning for some, but a farewell for Ulka Sasaki, who announced his departure for the USA, an announcement that was crashed. Following the young boy theme from All Japan earlier today, Naomichi Marufuji welcomed JTO youngster Katsumi Inahata to Noah. And much like the morning showing, the older hand pulled an awesome match out. The beauty of Shinjuku Face is being able to be so close to the action, and when it came to one of my favourites, Masa Kitamiya, that ensures the physicality is at a high level. Noah was off to a great start for the year, leaving the chilly walk home a lot easier to handle. That tune means All Japan for the 2nd day in a row at Korakuen Hall. And we got up close and personal again, this time as Havoc took on Baka no Jidai, or Era of Idiots. Hideki Suzuki is much closer to a wrestling genius than an idiot, and that shines through even when not in the most serious of gimmicks. Havoc may have lost their belts, but don't appear to have lost any fans. Like Suzuki, Triple Crown champion Kento Miyahara wasn't exactly serious, but suitably set up a later match. But the belt to be defended next was a television belt, Havoc's Shintaro Ashino versus Big Japan strong legend Daisuke Sekimoto. Despite what appeared to be a pretty serious injury in 2025, he's come back the heavy hitter he always was. Despite a junior heavyweight main event remaining in the show, I had to jump in a cab to get to the other side of town. Ota Ward Gymnasium was hosting Marigold's first dream. I'd never seen a Marigold show, either live or streamed, so was ready for anything. But if you're visiting Ota Ward, what you should be ready for is limited drink and zero food. Be sure to visit the Lawson that's on the way if you're travelling by train. The big talking point amongst us was who would be the mystery opponent of Megaton. We should have known. At this point, I swear this bloke is following us. But it was a well-balanced card with comedy, some high-quality matches with rising stars, taking on established performers that made the move from stardom, and some villains with charisma to burn. In a throwback to women's wrestling of the 70s and 80s, we got a musical performance, but clearly the highlight was the match between Marigold's biggest star, Mayu Iwatani, and Takumi Iroha from Marvelous defending the GHC belt. It was an absolute privilege to see two wrestlers at the top of their game. Match of the year so far. Marigold's red belt also was defended in an entertaining end to an excellent show. I stuck around, and as Megaton is my wife's new favourite wrestler, I got a signed 8x10. And Mayu Iwatani was lovely. I wasn't afforded the opportunity to explain the origins of this prototype, as a staff member acted like he was a long-lost Matsunaga brother and moved me on. But it was just a blip on a tremendous afternoon. I highly recommend Marigold and have continued to follow the promotion since. The wrestling is of a high standard, the characters are easy to follow, and so is the promotion thanks to its streaming on Wrestle Universe. It was a great note to end Wrestle Kingdom Eve. Some of our group opted for DDT at Korakuen Hall, but I went for some food and an early night. I went to bed thinking of tomorrow's sold-out Dome show. Given he seemingly struggled through the last part of 2025, would Hiroshi Tanahashi retire with one last great performance?